Good evening, everyone. KTH President, Dean of Faculty, installandi, fellow promovendi, and all honored guests. I must confess that having been part of a technical university these past years has made me develop this sense of pride in being involved in science, research, engineering, and technology. However, as I was preparing this speech, it struck me that the logo of KTH not only stands for science, but also for art. Combining that with the fact that PhD not only stands for doctor, but for Doctor of Philosophy, I decided to base my speech tonight on a piece of art and tell you about its philosophy. I chose a sculpture called The Struggle of Man to Reach the Summit, made by Venezuelan artist Carlos Prada to portray the fight of the human mind to conquer technology. The sculpture itself, with its cylindrical shape and a maze of overhanging knobs, represents the challenge at hand, the climb to be conquered. Over 50 human figurines are seen throughout the sculpture trying to reach the summit by going up through these knobs. As if this wasn't already challenging climb, the sculpture moves in a counter-rotating motion, making the ascent much more complex. I chose this sculpture for us tonight for 3 reasons. One, because it actually reminds me of how I felt at times during my PhD studies, especially that counter-rotating motion part. I can think of several situations during the PhD when I felt I was reaching up for something that was moving away from me while I was going in the opposite direction. And I would imagine it was similar for you too. Reaching for the ever-moving state of the art of your field, reaching for a deadline, reaching for time with your supervisor, all very challenging indeed. The second reason I chose this sculpture is for what we are here tonight. Being here at this celebration means we climbed the PhD Studies mountain, we battled to conquer that topic that now proudly stands as title to our thesis. I would, if I could, list all the individual qualities of those graduating tonight that helped toward that achievement. But based on my own experience, the one that surely tops the list on everyone's case is persistence. And very conveniently for me, it also starts with a P, so you can add that to that list. These reasons complete the original title of the sculpture, and since I'm talking to a room full of former PhD students that struggled and reached the summit, I would already like to say congratulations for that. However, there's still a third reason I chose this sculpture for us tonight. One thing I have not mentioned about the human figurines in the sculpture is that while each is trying to complete their own personal climb, they're not in isolation from each other. If you'd walk up close to the sculpture, you would see cases in which these humans are helping each other upwards, dragging each other sideways, or simply taking a coffee break together before they decide their next move. Companionship is thus the next message of this sculpture. I am sure that at some point during your PhD, that feeling of not knowing if you were moving forwards, backwards, or in circles was solved by looking at those around you, by following good examples, by a friend listening to your problems, by a supervisor guiding you the way, or by a parent still supporting you no matter what, in spite of not knowing what it is that you do research on. I am certain that we can all think of a few people that made this struggling counter-rotating maze an enjoyable ride with lots of frika breaks in between. I'd like to end my art philosopher career moment with a toast to all of those being promoted PhDs tonight. Fellow doctors, congratulations again. I toast to many more successful climbs in whichever summits you are chasing next. Skål!